Imagine being a comedian and you made everyone laugh everywhere you went. Doesn't sound so bad, right? Now imagine they're not laughing with you anymore. They're laughing at you because suddenly you've become the butt of every joke. The tabloids are notorious for shaming celebrities for their bodies and trying to make that a punchline. However, this time things took a different turn when Jonah Hill clapped back at the Daily Mail for making nasty comments about his weight. Until a few days ago, we had no idea how deep the cuts in Jonah's self-esteem ran, but we've got it all in today's episode, so stick around to find out. Before we get to the nitty-gritties, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you're always the first to know what's happening.
How old are you?
22.
You certainly are. That'll be $80.
Oh, okay. Sure, thank you kindly. Will that do?
Since the beginning of his career, Jonah was depicted as the fat guy in Hollywood. The media would go out of their way to find unflattering photos of the star, ask horrible questions aimed at poking fun at his appearance, and discredit his talent in the process. One interviewer went as far as asking Jonah if he thinks it's important to, quote, be unattractive to be funny.
Jonah, do you think it's important to be unattractive to be funny? Can skinny people be funny?
I don't think it has to do with like anything besides just being funny and like being yourself, you know?
Questions like these only led people to believe that the actor was only funny because of his weight and that his body was something to laugh at. This took a toll on Jonah because the more he looked at it, the more it seemed to be true. Having someone you look up to imply that you're a joke must suck, right? Well, this is exactly what happened to the young star when the Hollywood bad boy Brad Pitt didn't consider Jonah as part of his serious actors list.
If you could adopt a personality trait or mannerism from one of your Moneyball co-stars, what would it be?
What would it be? A personality
Any one
trait?
of them. If they're sitting right here, that could be one of them. If it's Phil Hoffman, whatever.
No. I got to go with a serious actor.
Okay.
Even after the actor had just starred in a movie alongside Brad, it didn't seem good enough to get him up in the ranks. And what more can be said other than the media was playing a large role in ruining the Moneyball actor's reputation? Brad probably saw Jonah as the funny fat guy in Hollywood, because you know what they say, if you're told something many times, you start to believe it. And the Jonah the joke talk was everywhere you looked. It's not always easy to have the best self-esteem, especially when everything else around you is adding fuel to the fire. Telling yourself you're good enough or worth it, just to be told you're not by a million other people can be exhausting. And it's worse when those millions of people are media vultures who are ready to pounce on any signs of low self-esteem. But celebrities are real people with real feelings, and journalists sometimes get so blindsided by the characters they play and take things a little too far. After working with Channing Tatum, a comedic actor he initially found quite intimidating, Jonah began to look at himself from a different perspective. He'd envied the way Channing looked and wasn't looking forward to the on-screen comparisons that reporters would make.
No, he's like way bigger and stronger than I am. It's just like, I beg him. I've literally cried from this happening.
But he had no idea that, while he was admiring Channing's appearance, the Magic Mike actor was doubtful about his talent. Jonah ended up leaving the set feeling way better about himself when he realized how much his co-star admired him, and for the one thing he had lacked confidence in, his knack for comedy. All actors are typecast, but I tried to change whatever pigeonhole I was in because I didn't want to get stuck there. The 21 Jump Street actor had grown tired of always being the funny sidekick character.
Did you not see that I was going first?
Excuse you.
Go ahead.
And was unhappy that people only saw him in that light. He began to question whether he could switch genres and transition into a more serious actor. Even after he decided to take a different route in his life, he was still getting haunted by how the media portrayed him. He still couldn't have an interview without the subject of his weight popping up or getting questions aimed at making him look like a clown. But Jonah had had enough and began to stand up for himself. "I'm not answering that dumb question," Hill snapped in an interview. "I'm not that kind of person. Being in a funny movie doesn't make me have to answer dumb questions. It has nothing to do with who I am." When Jonah did stand up for himself, the media was ready to portray him as a bad guy, painting his self-defense as meltdowns and freakouts. Were these just freakouts, or had Jonah bottled up years of mockery and being put down that he had now reached a breaking point? Had the actor even taken a moment to look at the effects this had put on him? Or had he been suffering in silence for all these years?
Are you the fat guy in Hollywood still, or is everybody like look at you and they're like, oh wow, this is great, now you're healthy?
Do you have any other questions that are smart?
Yes, living your life in the limelight comes with its disadvantages. But does that mean celebrities should put up with it, even if it means affecting their mental health? Stars go through the same ups and downs that we all do, but on a much larger scale. Their flaws are put under a magnifying glass for all the world to see and have opinions on. We, on the other hand, can easily hide away in our rooms or leave the party if we feel uncomfortable. But celebrities can't just quit their lives, and the media makes sure to use this to their advantage. But instead of continuing to harden his skin, Jonah decided to face his insecurities. I became famous in my late teens, and then spent most of my young adult life listening to people say that I was fat and gross and unattractive. It's only in the last 4 years writing and directing my movie mid-90s that I've started to understand how much that hurt and got into my head. Jonah went quiet for some months and came back looking different. He had adopted a new eating plan and was working out. And his new body was proof of that. The actor had lost a lot of weight, but still Hollywood wasn't happy. He went from being the fat funny guy to the "you think you'll still be funny now that you're skinny" guy. Twitter was buzzing with talk of which Jonah was better, dividing his fan base into two: Team Fat Jonah and Team Skinny Jonah. With all this pressure around his body, the actor fell back into his old habits, regaining the weight he had lost, and surprise, surprise, Hollywood still had something to say about it. With one award show host going as far as asking if the actor owned a scale. Amidst it all, Jonah kept his feelings bottled up. What was the right body to have? Which body was good enough? And his answer was every single type. "I'm under construction. We all are," he said in an interview. The actor is finally learning to accept himself in every form, but the Daily Mail didn't seem to have got the memo. They recently published photos of Jonah surfing, followed by what they thought would be an unflattering shot of him shirtless. This obviously invites the public to, once again, have a say on the maniac star's body. Jonah took to Instagram and owned the narrative. He finally shared what years of comments like these did to him and his self-esteem. How they crippled him so much that he couldn't even bring himself to take his shirt off at the pool. How sad is that? And this applied for his early 30s too.
I became famous in my late teens and then spent most of my young adult life listening to people say that I was fat and gross and unattractive. And it's only in the last 4 years writing and directing my movie mid-90s that I've started to understand how much that hurt and got into my head.
But now, at 37, he's finally accepted himself for who he is and is no longer bothered by hateful comments that are aimed at hurting or poking fun at him. But the inspiring actor's post was not just about that. This isn't a good for me post, and it's definitely not a feel bad for me post. It's for the kids who don't take their shirt off at the pool. Have fun. You're wonderful and awesome and perfect. Perhaps because Jonah went through this mockery since childhood, he knows exactly what it might feel like for others going through the same thing, even if it's on a smaller scale. But how would younger Jonah have turned out if there was someone in his shoes? Someone who used their platform to help motivate and remind him that he too should have fun, that he too is wonderful and awesome and perfect. Who knows, maybe that would have ended a decade of insecurities that took him into his adulthood. And even though Jonah didn't have that person, he wanted to be it for someone else out there who feels alone. And he couldn't have been more accurate. Fans were moved by his post and quickly took to social media to congratulate him and let him know how much it meant to them. "Thank you for this, Jonah Hill," said one fan. "Rash guard was my veil of protection around pools during my training days. I always joke that it's because I'm conservative, but in reality, I just feel insecure about my skin and my body." Jonah didn't just clap back at the media for himself. He clapped back for everyone who wasn't so confident about their body image, who was made fun of by others growing up. And we hope that wherever little Jonah is right now, the same boy who couldn't take his shirt off at the pool is now free, proud, and also inspired. And that's all we have for today. But don't be shy to let us know in the comments how you and your friends thought Jonah handled the situation. And thank you for choosing Rumour Juice.
Jonah's got a great show for you tonight. Best Steel is here. Stick around and he'll be right back.
As always, we're very eager to see your opinion in the comments section below. And do tell us which topic we should cover next. Behind-the-scenes dramas of your favorite shows? Why did this seemingly perfect couple break up? How come this Hollywood hottie is still alone? Who holds the title of the most fan-friendly celebrity? Make your voice heard, and we at Rumour Juice will make sure that you never get bored. Subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to tell your friends how cool we are.